Good morning again and welcome back in today's class. So today we are on the day number 33 and here is the agenda for today's class specifically. So today mainly we are going to be discuss three topics. Number one is called LDAP SSO or the integration part. Okay. Second, we will see the ACL part, and third, we'll see the dictionary override and dictionary overview. Okay, let me go in the reverse order. The thing is that whenever we create any table, okay, and the field has been created in that table, is become the data, the record, the value stored in a place called the dictionary. Okay, this means that every what I can say, every field stored in a dictionary. Okay, if I talk about the simple meaning of dictionary is a place where you can find about a specific field or a specific word. It is a noun, it is an objective, it is subjective, it is objective. What is the property, how to pronounce that, what is the meaning of that particular the word in our dictionary. Okay, so in the same manner in ServiceNow we have a concept called the dictionary and a dictionary override. Okay, so when I say the dictionary means basically if I let me open a form here. Okay, let me open the incident form here and click on the create new. Okay, when I click on the create new, I go here and right click on this context menu. Okay, and go to configure and go to dictionary here. Okay, let me click on the dictionary here. What I am doing now, I'm seeing that the fields which are given in this particular table, how they are behaving, what is their behavior in the system. Okay, so you can see here that all the incident records, approximately 35 field attributes I can see here and their properties available here. It means if you see open this opened by, it is a reference one. It is referenced by the user table. Is it displayed? No. Is it text index? No. It is audit? No. Okay. So what this means basically that you can do some modification in the attribute of a fee, attribute of a table by using the dictionary point. Okay. Let me come to the little top here. And when we create any table, the dictionary created automatically. When we create any table by extending any table, so I inherit the parent table dictionaries. Simple point is that suppose if I am getting something from my father, so I am getting the things in the inheritance, all the good religion things, good religious book, good things to be learned, good points to be remembered, good words to be remembered. Okay, so these things are the dictionary which I am getting from my father, or I'm inheriting from my father because I am extending one that table. Okay, so let me open this caller ID here. You may have a question, Atul, these are the attributes only. Definitely these are the attributes. But these are, we can go and see in the table as well. Yes, you can see in the table as well. If I open, let me go here, tables. See, tables here. Okay, and let me open the table in the another window. Okay, go here and let me open the incident table. This one. Okay, I open this table and I can see the columns easily. See, I can see these columns easily. Okay. Now, if I open this, let me open the color here. Color is this one. Okay, no problem. Let me open the color here. And I am getting the same options here as well. Okay, but the thing is that why, if this is the case, then why I go at that particular place? Okay, there's a concept called the dictionary override. Okay, theoretically it is important to understand. Practically we use this very less, at least in our out of the box table. Okay, we use it very less. The purpose of the dictionary override is that, suppose, let's take example, husband and wife. Husband brings something from the market. Okay, and wife also brings something similar from the market. Now the question comes, I have same thing in the count as a 2. What should I take it? Should I keep it the thing which bring by husband, or should I take a thing which bring by the wife? As a universal truth, we always take the thing which has been bring by the wife. So what I am doing here, I'm overriding a decision. I'm overriding a value. I'm overriding a attribute of that particular thing. So in the same example, suppose I am getting some fields from my parent table. Okay, let's take example. In the task table, there's a field called the caller. Okay, let's open the task table as well. Let's see. Let's go here. And search for the task. Okay, where is my task table? I am looking for the task table here only, this one task. Okay, let me open that. Now, if I open this task table, I am definitely getting a lot of fields available, right? 78 fields, we discuss 76 fields. Let me scroll down. Let's see, caller is there. Caller. Let's try to search here. Go here. No caller. Okay, let me see what is this field. Caller ID, reference. Okay, let's pick up any other field here. The reason is that I want to show you something. Created. Yeah. Okay, created by. Okay, created by field is created into the task table. Okay, and if you see the property of this particular field in the task table is that it is not read only, neither mandatory nor display. But now if I go here and search for the created by, let me go here, dictionary. Okay, this is another way that you can search it. Okay, go here. I'm giving the example. Just hold for a minute. Don't be confused here. Incident. Okay. Okay, they're not using the created by. They're not using. Problem open resolved. Okay, let's take resolved by. Okay. Open this resolved by. Yes, Farah. Yes, Farah. Go ahead.
No, it's written created by anyway.
Sorry. Sheem, your voice is breaking.
No. Hello.
Yes, Sheem.
No, just I tell you, there are created by.
Okay. created by, I need to be go again back. Okay, let me tell you that what I want to achieve by this particular option. Okay, so suppose I have a field called the resolved by in my task table. Okay, that field say it is read only in the task table, or that is a mandatory in the task table. Now when you created your incident table and you want to change the behavior of that particular field by making as a read only, or by making as a mandatory, or by making as a display, it means you are doing the dictionary overriding. Okay, so in simple words, if I say dictionary override means when you want to change the behavior or the properties of any attribute which has been extended from the table, then it's called the dictionary override. Okay, if I open the task table here, okay, what we're doing resolve by, okay, let's search for the resolve by. Resolved by, because they are not making any change in the property. Rejection to. Okay, so in this case what I can do, I can go to that particular field and make all these things as a read only, mandatory and display. It means I am overriding the property which I'm getting from the my extended table. That is the only thing which we want to discuss here, called the dictionary override. Okay, so if you do this thing, it becomes a mandatory for you. So I added this thing. Let me go and do something here. Incident dot do. Let's see, resolved by. See, resolution information, it is mandatory now. Why? See, its complete action is showing the this thing resolved by. So it will be auto populated as a business rule. It will be auto populated, but it is a mandatory at the beginning. See, you can do the mandatory read only via UI policy as well. Right? So the thing is that you can do that part, but we use the dictionary override in case we want to override the behavior of a field which is be coming from the parent table. Okay, now if I remove this, let me remove these options. Okay, now let me save this. Okay, and now let's reload this page. As per the expectation, the resolution information should not be mandatory now. See, it is no longer mandatory. Why? Because I changed the behavior of the parent record. Parent attribute values. Okay. Any doubt, any question till this point?
Hi Atul, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Vinuj, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, let's say that we have recently made the changes via the dictionary entry into the incident form.
Okay.
Okay, so what is going to happen for all the records which are already there, like existing in the in the database?
Okay.
Suppose if I remove the resolution mandatory field, so what would happen to all here?
So when you reload that page, it will run the script in the background, and then it will make your pop-up. See, if you make any changes in your bedroom, okay, or maybe in the kids' room, unless you are not allowing people to go and do some R&D, nothing will be happen. As soon as your kids start jumping on the bed, then you come to realize, oh, that is not a good ply he put it, right? Even though you make the changes already. So if you open the record again, then it will create a pop-up or the issue for you. But this is also recommended when you're making any changes in the dictionary. Okay, let me assure you this point, that the data which is already exists can be on the risk at point of time. You need to be changed a lot of values in the background. And how these things can be done in the background is basically we need to be write a script in the background to run that part. Let me give you the example. Let me give you a normal example. Suppose the kids were alone. This is a very common story, or this is a very common example I can say. When kids are alone at the home, they can make a lot of noise. They can put the things here and there, right? Because parents are in the office, so they can make anything as per requirement in the home. And when in the evening, they know that 5 o'clock parents are coming, what they start doing? They start fixing that problems. They're collecting the toys, they're collecting their books, they're collecting their waste plates or all the things in the proper places, so that it should be look like the similar the morning when mom and dad go to the office and the home was handed over to us. So to fix that part, we need a scripting in the background. Like if you know the example of the SQL, insert into table name, that is insert. But if you want to update, what to do? Update table record table name, then attribute name, attribute value. Then you update the 1,000 records in a single go. How? By the script. So in the background also we have a script which run in the background by the development team. Okay, that is it is said that never ever recommended to make the policy changes, dictionary override changes in the middle of anything. Do it in the proper timings. Maybe you know that after 2 days month will be going to be end, and let's generate the report first. After that, from the first day of the next month, I'll make the changes in the system so that it should not impact any previous reporting from my side. Okay. Got your point? Got the point, Vinush?
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other doubt, question, clarification required here? Farah, Hashim, Sachin,
No,
Roshan, Reshma.
no, thank you.
Okay. Now I come to the second point. That is called the ACL. Okay. What do you mean by the term ACL? ACL stands for the Access Control List. Let's take example. Being a husband and wife, being a father and mother, okay, we have a kids at home. But sometime, I'll not say the sometime, but every time, being a parents, we always keep our important documents, keep our important things. It can be a financials, it can be property paper, it can be your documentations, it can be your I can say some other important things which you always keep away from your kids. Okay, what you do in your wardrobe, you have a small drawer as well. You put all the important things in that particular. Everybody do, the parents who are in the call now, everybody do, because we have a fear. Maybe if my son get this document, he can tear it. He can make some unnecessary changes in that. Specifically passport. You will never keep your passport open in the table unless your kid a 5 or 6 or 7 year old, because that time they get the some knowledge that it is important not to touch anything. So what to do? You people or we people put that thing in a specific secret place, and only you or your wife know that particular place. Like financials, we discuss the financials with our spouse, right? She know that where is my bank account, you know that where her bank account, how much balance you both have, what is the insurance plans you are be taking care. So in the same manner, ServiceNow say that I have a concept called the ACL. I don't want that Vinuj can go and make a change in my table. I don't want Farha, Sheem, Anjan can go and make a change in my table. They are the admin users. They can make. But if they're the ideal user, I don't want they can make any changes. That is fine. That is accepted. Okay. Now I come to the second point of the same example. Your kid has the authority to open your wardrobe, that's fine. Sometimes we say, okay, go and bring that shirt for me, bring that pant for me, bring that socks for me. Okay, but he has no authority to open that drawer because you already told them, you already told him or her, you are not allowed to open this wardrobe or open this drawer because this is a secret one. I have kept my documentation here. So if I say, if I pick up these things in the example, service now say you have a two type of ACL. On the two level of ACL you can put. Number one is called the table level ACL and second called the field level ACL. When you told to your kids, don't touch that wardrobe, that is a table level ACL. You can open the wardrobe, but you cannot go and touch or open that drawer. That is a field level ACL. Okay. Now the point is that who can create or who can modify the ACL? Vinuj, Anjan are the, what I can say, um, home chief. No, home chief. I forget. There's a word we use. Head of the family. Yes. Binuj and Anjan are the head of family in their respective family. Okay. It means they have super privileges other than their wife as well. Even though their wife is also equally important. But at some of the cases, we always hide the things from the wife. I don't want to show him the property papers. It is not for her. Why I want to disturb her? It's for me. I can take care of all the things. Okay. It means in service now as well, we called a privilege called the elevated rules. Elevated rules are important. If someone is asking in the interview that what do you mean by the ACL, you can say access control list. How the ACL can be taken care, you need to be answered that a user who has a elevated rule can make a changes. Now I come to from the certification exam perspective. In the CSA exam, this question has been asked that how much the duration of a elevated role. Elevated role work only in the sessions framework. Let's take example. You go into the barbecue nation, you go into some bar, you have your stamping on your hand. Once you paid the bill and you came out from that bar and you want to go inside the bar again, you have to pay the amount again. That is means till the time you did not pay the bill, you can eat anything else in the bar or in the barbecue nation. But once you paid the bill and you're outside the bar, it means you are a new user for them. You pay amount, again welcome into the in the restaurant. Till this point, any doubt, any question, anyone?
It's clear.
Farah, Anjan, Sheem, Roshan, Vinuj.
No, it's clear.
It's clear. Now what you can do, let me go here and go here. Let me impersonate with the system admin because my system admin has the elevated rules. See, I am a user. I'm an admin, but I'm not a system admin here. There's a role missing here. So now what I'll do, I'll go here and ACL. And you can see here. System security ACL. Click on this. I'm not getting a new button. Why? Because till now this user is not entering into the barbecue nation. You cannot eat the barbecue food outside the barbecue unless you get a ticket or you get a chair inside in that particular restaurant. Only then you can eat. So what I'll do, I'll click here and see. Oh, I need to be logged in there. Farah, is your instances working? Can I take it? And if possible,
Let me check.
give me the admin username and password, or let me reset it a bit. Because I need that, because to work in the ACL, I need the elevated rule. Let me see if I can quickly go and reset the password. Let me do it here. Wait. We're doing a lot of things. Let me reset the password for admin here only. Okay, company. Password. Update. Okay, now let me log out and log in again. Okay, now what I'll do? Yes, now I have this. Okay, I'll go to the ACL. Okay. Now you can see I have no new button here. What I'll do, I'll go here and click on the elevated rules. This rule has been given by ServiceNow when you buy the instance from them. Okay, because in a company, a lot of people are working on the same tool. So it is your architect who recommend, okay, give this elevated rule to these persons only. Click on the elevated rule. See, the following are the session specific privilege. If you logged out or your time out, this privilege will be gone again. So I'll say OK, and this I'm needing security admin rights, yes, and click on the OK. Because the simple thing is that you will not allow anyone to come to your home and make a changes in their wardrobe. And now you can see I'm getting a new button here. Important point to understand, nobody can make a change in the ACL unless he has a elevated role in the profile. Okay, now I click here. And what I'll do, I'll tell you just on the overview perspective. Okay, what type of ACL you want. Basically, these are the new introduced graphical QL processor. This has been a latest introduced by the ServiceNow. We will do see only record. I want to put a ACL on the record level. Okay, what? Create record, read record, update record, delete record. I said delete record. Okay. Production policy. I'm just leaving it as it is. On which table you want to put. If you put the asterisk, see, it means this particular ACL will be applicable for the all tables which are be exist in the ServiceNow. But if I say no, I want it on the, let me open this. This is the problem I hate. Okay, I say this should be applicable on the incident table only. Let me bring the incident table. Yeah. Okay, this. Till now, this is applicable only for the incident table. Your kid is allowed to touch the wardrobe. That is this one. Okay. Now, if I put on which field you want to put, see, I can see all the fields. See these things. If you put the asterisk, it means in the table, all fields are blocked or access control. If you put a specific field, I say only group. Okay. This thing. Nobody can delete it. This assignment group. Okay. Let me click on the save. It's loading for me. It's saying verifying the rule, and there the multiple rules are there. Show all, what all are there? It's say adding this. It is overriding the task one. See, task is the strikeout. It means there is some ACL already applicable on the task table. Remember, if you are doing the parent extending any table, sorry, creating any table by extending that, it is overriding that as well. I said okay, click continue. This ACL has been set up for me. Okay, now if I scroll down, required role. Now you put the blockage that nobody can open that wardrobe. But who can open that wardrobe other than you? Only my wife. So I will put this role here. I say a role, a user who has a role called the ITIL. Let's put ITIL only. ITIL. Not ITIL, let's put ITIL admin. And click OK. Means the user who has this particular role can make a change in the record level. Okay, that is the thing you have to put it here. If you want to put any condition, when he can change, when the change or the incident in the new state or in the delete, sorry, in the up resolved state or in the in progress state. In that cases, you can put the thing here. Okay, so you can see here, access control rules allow a specific resource if all these three check true. What three? The user has a role specific called in the role list. If any user who has this role can make a change, condition of the condition field true if this condition met, and the third, the script in the script field. If you go to the advanced here, from the advanced, this one, if you click on the advanced here, okay, you need to write a script for this one. Only then you can make a change in this particular record level. So from the interview perspective, from the consultant perspective, you can tell to your customer, yes, we can put the ACL on the table level or on the field level. Okay. Any doubt, any question till this point? Anyone?
No.
Farhashim, Anjan, Vinod.
No, it's clear.
It's all clear. You guys are not feeling that I'm going very fast. It's all fine, right?
Yes, it's
Okay.
correct. Yeah.
Good. Okay, Vinod, Anjan, Roshan.
Yeah, clear.
So from the interview perspective, you should know what role is required. Now let's see one thing. Let me show you one thing. Let's go here and log out. Let's save it first. Update. Okay. We say that elevated role are the session specific, right? Let me log out. And now I log in again. Login. In the meantime, okay. Now, did you notice one thing? This user don't have elevated role as of now. Let me go here. Go to system security. Go here. See, no new button is there. The question comes, Atul, how you identify that? If you notice that when I click on this and go to elevated role, there's a lock button appearing. Let me show you. See this one. It means at this time he's doing some important security related stuff. When you do these secret things, when your kids are sleeping, so that they should not disturb you during that time period. Okay, so this is about our ACL as a concept. Only these things which we can discuss, I'm telling you here. Rest you can read and make a practice on the top of that. Okay, now I come to the next point. Mid server we already discussed. Okay, in now for the next 20-25 minutes we will discuss mainly on the LDAP, SSO and the integration. Okay, let me go here and open this. SSO. What do you mean by the SSO? Single sign on. Any example of SSO? Anyone? Anjan. Any example of SSO?
Sorry, I was in mute. Okay. The same example like in ServiceNow.
No, layman example. I'm not talking about the service now. I'm talking about the layman.
Layman. Okay. See, basically, if you in your organization, if you want to access anything which has multiple credentials, where you require multiple credentials. Okay, with the same credentials.
Anjan, just one thing. You are my consultant. I am your customer, and I am on the managing director level. I don't know understand this multi things or all these things. Give me a layman example.
Okay. One account.
Okay.
Everywhere login.
Okay, nice example. That is the definition. Now, what is the example?
With your email ID and password, you can log into any of the application.
Office email ID, right?
Right. So Office email ID,
Okay.
based on that, you can log in to any of the application on your organization.
Okay, fine. Vinuj, what do you say?
Yes, yes, same as he explained. Like with one ID. Suppose you have a Gmail account.
Okay.
Okay, you have a Gmail account by which you can log in into the YouTube, Twitter, and other applications which are.
That's fine. That is the example actually I'm looking for, the Gmail one. Anjan, the thing is that there's a difference between these two examples. Vinuj and your example are same. I'm 100% both are the good examples. And I know this thing only. But the thing is that in some time when we discuss with our customers, people are not from the technical background. Like if I take example, Reshma, Gaurav, and Roshan, they're a college pass outs. They never seen that how the IT industry work. They don't know that what do you mean by the one email ID and multiple application. But that is I'm saying, give me a layman example. But when Vinuj say Gmail, everybody is using the Gmail. I have a Gmail, you have a Gmail, Roshan has a Gmail. It means one Gmail ID, you can access Gmail, Calendar, OneDrive, YouTube, Twitter. Not Twitter, for Twitter you need something else, but you can still manage that part. So SSO says that single sign on. It means if I am an employee of a company, as soon as I open or I log in into my laptop, all the things should be auto logged by the same username and the password, that is called the SSO. And SSO is not enabled out of the box. We need to be enable SSO in the ServiceNow. How this can be taken care? For that, we need to be install the plugin called the SSO is a plugin available. Okay. Now I'll tell you one important point where that SSO has been set up. Okay, let me go here and search for the SSO. So you can see here, yesterday only I installed this particular plugin. Before that, I want to go for the properties here. Okay, number one, do you want that if anyone who want to use my instance should be logged in by SSO? I said yes, enable yes. Enable auto importing of user from identity provided to the user table. Important point I'll discuss in the LDAP part. If any user is not able to log in, do you want to do some troubleshooting for the integration? I said yes. On which parameter of user record you want to put the SSO? I say user underscore name. Now, before we go for the SSO, let me put one more thing called the LDAP. Example of the integration we are going to be see here. LDAP is basically because we all approximately 50% of these participants are already working in the IT industry for a long time. 10, 12, 13, 15, 20 years experience we guys have. We know that, and for the people like Reshma, Roshan and Gaurav, for you guys, the thing is that there's a concept called the Active Directory, AD. Okay, AD is the truth or the single place for all truth or the golden place of all truth ki how many users are working in my company. Okay, so AD is something like the ration card of your family. If tomorrow Roshan get married, he will add her wife name in that ration card so that she became the member of my family. Till this point, any doubt, any question, all clear? Anyone?
Yes. No, it's clear.
Okay. Okay. So that is the thing. So now if to suppose Roshan get married and he added her wife name in that particular ration card. Basically, ration card is basically a family card, I can say, for you guys, Sheem and Farah, in other words. Okay. Now tomorrow, if someone invited Roshan and Roshan father for a marriage, what they will write? I invite Mr. X and her wife name. Her wife name, and I invite Roshan and her wife name, his wife name. Sorry. Okay. So to say this thing here, that now they're not inviting only Roshan, they're inviting his wife as well. Okay. When I say his wife, means because how they come to know, because they see, okay, why Roshan is married now, he has the ration card, and in the ration card his wife name has been mentioned there. So what we do basically, LDAP is the single place of truth. In LDAP, two things are important. We have a user record and we have a group record. When I bring this user and group into ServiceNow, and to do that part, I do the LDAP integration. We know that how to do the integration. Let me tell you. Suppose I'll put L.user. It means I'm referring the LDAP tool and the user table. Now L.group. It means LDAP tool and the group table. S.user and S.group. What I will do, I will bring, let me put it from here. What I will do, I will map the user table of LDAP with the user table of ServiceNow. I will map the LDAP group table with the ServiceNow group table. In short, what I am doing here, I am bringing the data from the third-party tool into the ServiceNow. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
If I want to bring any data into ServiceNow from the third-party tool, what I need on the place? We done that part. Tell me, Which method, which mechanism, which technique we follow?
Integration.
Integration.
Integration is the only word. When I said please bring the user data into from Excel sheet to ServiceNow, what process we follow?
Import set.
What else? Imports is the one thing. What else? Complete. Give me the complete process. Import set. Then what else?
Then transfer map is there. Then
Very good.
staging,
What? Very
and
good.
staging is there.
Yes. Then-
And then you upload.
Yes. So when we do the integration with any other third-party tool, it is like I am creating an import set, I am creating a transform map, and then I am putting into the service. Now in the background, this thing is only work. Either you travel by flight, you travel by train, you travel by car, or you travel by motorbike. In every case, you always carry your luggage with you. That is the only thing. The traveling mode can be different, but the luggage will always be same. Either you are going on a vacation for 1 week or the 2 months, you always carry your essentials in a one of the box. It means you always create an import set, you always create a transfer map. But here it is a little different. So what I'll show you, go here and search for the LDAP. Let me open this in the separate window so that I can show you what I want to be telling you here. Okay, so what we can do basically, I don't have any LDAP server available with me because I don't have any server here. You can see one server is given by ServiceNow. This one. Okay. Yes, I'm looking for this image only. Yes, here you can go. What I'm doing now, if I want to do the integration, you remember in the item we read the term called the mid server. Yes or no?
Yes.
Guys, yes.
Yes. Yes.
So because LDAP has been installed in the customer infrastructure, not in my infrastructure. So what I do from ServiceNow, I will install the mid server, which go into the Active Directory, bring the data for me and put it in the data source. What do you mean the data source? The import set I'm talking here. It put in my import set. From import set, I'll create a transform map. The user will go to the user table, group will go into the group table. This is the simple thing which we are going to be achieved now. And believe me, is any integration you talk, ServiceNow to ServiceNow integration you talk, ServiceNow to third party integration you talk, the thing is same every time. The little bit of working can be different, but the structure will be always similar we use. Now what I go here, you can see ServiceNow give me a LDAP server. Okay. And this is the username and password for this and all the things they have given. It's say I have a group table, I have a user table. This one. Okay. Because I need to do the mapping as well. What we do here? We do the import set, but how import set will work? It will work with the data source. Data source means my Excel sheet, right? I need to do the linking from this place, and then from here to here, and from here to here it go. Okay, so this thing you can see that I am have a user table and the group table, and this is my data source. Let me show you here. Data source means I have to create two different Excel sheet. One is for user, one is for group. Okay, so these two data source means two different imports and two different Excel sheet I'm doing here. Click here. Because this is a LDAP, so I'm not getting any Excel sheet in the picture. See, this is my import set name, import set table name. Remember we create the import set table? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. This is my transform map. See.
Transform. Yes.
So in short, nothing new we're doing here. We are just creating two different groups, data sources, and mapping with on the LDAP part. The only thing which is be required here is that type is LDAP. Maybe we can say the JDBC. I can say file as well. Let me put LDAP. What is the LDAP target? Is a group. Okay. Then it will go. Let me open this and go to the view. Okay. Now see what is saying. Test 20 records. Okay. What I'm doing, what ServiceNow is saying to be do the experiment. Suppose in this particular one, I already have a 20 records. It's a error. My LDAP server is not connected. The reason it's giving me the error. So in short, for you guys to be understand, because LDAP is the basic integration which everyone should know. So in interview, this question has been asked. Have you done the integration? You can say yes. Which integration? You can say LDAP integration. And what is the LDAP integration way? This is the way. We have to create a data source. We have to do the LDAP server mapping. In the background, it has import set, transform map, and then from the transform map, I have a different transform group and user. I will be moving my data from one place to the another place. Okay. These are the things. We have to do the authentication as well. Multiple parameters are there, but the thing is that if you read this document, it will be easy for you to be go for that. LDAP monitoring. There's no monitoring is going on. Data source we discuss. LDAP properties. Use LDAP for the password authentication. It means that when I, as a ServiceNow user, want to go into the LDAP, should I go directly or you should use password? Yes, you should use the password here. Automatically import user from LDAP if user is not present in the sys table. Very good. Now the thing is that you ask your kid, bring the material from the another room to my room. If it is not available in my room, suppose I have 2 Fevicol bottles. I'm doing some cutting pasting for my kid project work. I said, okay, go in that room and bring these things. One Fevicol, one scissor, and one chart paper. My kid bring only scissor and the chart paper. He did not bring the Fevicol. I said, why? He said, Fevicol is you already having the Fevicol bottle with you. So I did not bring that. So to reduce or to remove the duplicacy of the user. Okay, then use paging and support LDAP server retrieve results. I have no idea on that part. What that mean basically. The amount of the time server listener. Okay, how these things go basically, or how these basically things work. Okay, if you go here from ECC, the request go from here. The request go to the LDAP. It tried to knock 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not opening the record for me. It's not opening the active directory for me. The reason can be because this and this are in the 2 different networks. Maybe this network has been down. Maybe the password which I want to use to access this LDAP or the active directory has been changed, which has not been informed to me. So it's saying how much time you want to put it in the minutes. I said try for the 5 minutes. If nobody open the door, come back. Like it happened. If you go to somewhere, you knock the door 3 or 4 times. It is a standard practice in IT. Suppose you are working as a major incident manager or the incident manager. Okay, so it has been said that a person will call you in the odd timings. If he or she need your support, he will call you 3 times back to back, 1, 2, and 3. If you did not respond in the 3 continuous back-to-back calls, then it will be going to be escalated to the next level. That is the thing which you follow. So it's a how many time you want to put the response from the LDAP. It's a 5 minutes. If till the 5 minute LDAP is not responding, come back with the error. That's fine for me. Okay. Any doubt, any question till this point? Now, okay, sorry, I missed out this thing. Now let me open the user one. SSO we're talking. Okay. So when I got the record, suppose I got a user record called the, okay. Now the thing is that now this record from, let me do like this. Okay. L.tinku is coming to S. Suppose there's a user called Tinku which has been moved or copy from LDAP to the ServiceNow. Okay, now I want to make sure that whenever Tinku use the ServiceNow instance, it should be SSO enabled. How I can do that part? I can go here and open the user record, user admin. Let's take an example of this one. Okay. Suppose I bring this user from the LDAP. Now what I say, whenever this particular person want to access my service now, it should be SSO enabled. So I need to put the SSO source here, that it go to his company federation portal and bring that information, and then he can use my system. He can log in into my service now. Okay, so that is the place where I need to do this thing. Maybe I can say login. I'm not sure it will work. .com. So this user will be redirected to this particular link. From there, he will log in and open the record form. Let's try to see here if anything available out of the box or not. Let's add SSO source. Guys, interesting or not? Or everybody sleeping?
No, it's okay.
I guess no SSO is there even here. Okay, no user has SSO enabled. Okay, so you can put the SSO link here. Now what you can do, if you have a admin rights in your official instance, then go and check, is there any SSO link for you or not? Just try once, you will get to know these things. And to enable the SSO, we have a different certificates available. These are the certificates which support your system to perform the SSO part. Okay, this is another important point. Installation exists. This question comes into the certification exam. That what do you mean by the installation exist? Okay, it means that if there's a installation exists, means if a user want to log in into ServiceNow and he has a SSO enabled, it means in that place, in that time, the user will be redirected to the SSO link. So like for these things, you can see here, everything is false. So on the company basis, allow a customer to have SSO type defined on the company basis. Okay, like this. So a lot of things are there. So I'll not go in the deep dive because that is not required for us as of now. But all are the false here. SSO login. See, they have a script here. It go to this, all the things is there. Okay, so this is the overview of the SSO and the LDAP with us and with the integration part. Okay, there's a one more thing which I want to be highlighted, is called the integration hub. This one. Okay, this is the one of the latest module introduced by ServiceNow. What is the purpose of the integration hub? Basically, if you want to integrate the ServiceNow with multiple tools, then you can use this integration hub. Okay, and you can put your all integration in a one place. I never ever use this thing, but you can see or you can read about these things. It is also a little hot topic in the market, but the thing is that the person who has a depth knowledge of ServiceNow, then he can use the integration hub properly, or he know that how to use the integration hub. Configuration template, if you want to configure it, see, they have already configured something. Basic authentication, API key demo authentication. Basically, this particular place has been used when you want to integrate ServiceNow with the third-party tool, and all the logins type of things you can capture at this particular place. Okay, so this is all about on this 3 topics for the today. Any doubt, any question, any clarification required till this point? I'm sure these are the interesting one. Let me go here. Yes, Anjan, Vinoj, Farah, Shahim, Reshma, Gaurav, Reshma and Roshan.
Good, sir.
All good, all fine.
Yes.
Farah and Shahim, Roshan.
All
Yes.
good. Yes, sir. All
We
good.
need
All good.
some.
Sorry.
We need just. We need just some practice and.
Practice. I'll not say it's a practice. Basically, first you need to read the documents to understand this thing, because you
Yes.
cannot do any practice here. For the practice, you need to work on that specific project. Only then you will come to know a lot of things which we still uncovered in this sessions.
Yes.
Okay. So let's close the call today here only, and tomorrow we will be coming up with a new topic. Okay, and then we can go for the discussion. I have just one. Okay, let me stop the recording first, then we can discuss.